Hello and welcome back to more SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, where last time we finished off our adventures in the Kelp Forest, and today we're going to be beginning our adventures in the Flying Dutchman's Graveyard, which is the second to last non-boss level that we're going to be playing in the game. But before we do any of that, I completely forgot something. I don't know how I forgot this, but it's actually, if you jump off the chum bucket, and then double jump, and then spin slowly on top of this clam, you can get another pair of underwear, so you can get 6 hit points instead of 5. I'm not sure why I didn't point this out. I think it's because it's not really necessary for the Kelp Forest, because the Kelp Forest, a lot of the challenges come from, platforming and puzzle solving, not so much combat. But the Dutchman's Graveyard and SpongeBob's Dream, which is going to be the final level before we go fight the final boss, those both have a couple sections where you're going to need some extra hit points if you're not careful. So, I don't feel too bad about not mentioning it until now, but you definitely want that extra hit point. You definitely want to get that pair of golden underwear before you head to the next 2 levels. Anyway, putting all that aside, now we can head down the path to the Flying Dutchman's Graveyard and begin our adventures in the penultimate level of the game, of course excluding the final boss. Let's do this.
The Graveyard of Ships. Somewhere among this haunted mess, a fearsome specter waits.
The Kelp Forest undeniably has the best atmosphere in the entire game, but the Dutchman's Graveyard, man oh man, is it a very close second in terms of just the sheer wonder and the wonder of the atmosphere.
Who dares disturb the Flying Dutchman?
It's me, SpongeBob, sir.
I don't need any cookies.
But I'm not a Shell Scout.
Look, kid, I'm too disturbed to scare the bejesus out of you right now. Come back later.
What's the matter?
It's these darn robots. They've thrown me off my own ship, they have. Being thrown off your own ship is like having your pants pulled down in front of casual acquaintances. It's a sad, sad thing. Now those robots have got their own pirate ship, and they're blasting away at each other.
Is there anything I can do to make you feel better?
Well, now that you mention it, get up to my ship and use the cannons to single-handedly defeat the robot ship. Any questions?
Is that adorable hat available in a size 3?
No, but if you do this, a golden spatula be your booty. Now get going.
Alright, so before we can get too far, we're going to be introduced to our final new enemy of the game. Thanks, you little brat. You screwed me over. Okay, so the best way to deal with this guy is with use of the cruise bubble. Attack him from a distance to pop his shield, because you need to drain his shield before you can actually deal damage to him. So drain the shield, and then finish him off with a headshot from the cruise bubble just like that. You can deal with him with the bubble bowl as well, like this, but I do not recommend trying to attack him with a regular spin attack, because doing so, like if you try to drain his shield with the spin attack, it'll just do damage to you. You can actually, like once the shield's down, you can attack him with a regular spin attack, but until that happens, like so long as the shield is up, you don't want to do that, because then he can just deal damage right back to you if you try to attack him with the regular spin attack. Anyway, you're going to want to use the cruise bubble pretty frequently in these first couple sections, because there's a lot of chucks here, and while they would ordinarily be a problem, because obviously the chucks have a long-range attack against you, we also have a long-range attack now. So you want to make sure you try to clear out as many of the chucks as you can from long range whenever you see them. Now what we want to do is we want to head down here and feed 2700 shiny objects to this clam right here. We can't really make much use of this right now because the whole area is kind of soaked in goo. But once we drain the lake, as it were, then we'll be able to make use of that. But you want to unlock that clam now so you can deal with it later. Then hit this button to slide this tower in that direction, and then hit this button to slide the tower in this direction, so that you can then wall jump between these 2 towers and make your way up to the next section like so. I recommend bubble bowling into this first 2 before it gets a chance to activate the flamethrower, and then bubble bash the remaining 2 just like that. As for the chuck, you know the drill. Just, use your cruise bubble before you get into its range to take it out just like so. Or if you don't nail it directed, you can also manually detonate it to have the blast radius do the work for you. Now what you want to do is, it's not super clear, but you want to aim your cruise bubble at that lid up there. The hatch that's, you see this little hole where all the goo's draining out of? You want to close that lid you want to close it by hitting the lid with the cruise bubble. So you want to aim upward with the cruise bubble and directly aim for this thing just like so. that will seal up the hole and drain the lake, which will allow us to access that gold spatula over there inside the cage. But you'll notice the cage is closed. So how do we open it? Well, there was a button over in this treasure chest over here, so I wonder if we hit the button, will that open the cage? I think you know the answer, but we'll see for ourselves anyway. So once you hit that button, you want to immediately run for the sponge ball, and then move as fast as you can. This section's not too bad. Just try to stay away from the edges whenever you can. Because you really don't have a chance. You don't have much of a chance. It's not like Rock Bottom where you can make a break for the end without the cruise bubble. Sorry, without the sponge ball. You need the sponge ball to get all the way to the end here in time. So you want to make sure you just stay away from the edges and take your corners slowly, so that you don't run the risk of falling into the goo as a sponge ball. But yeah, so long as you make it here in time, you'll be able to grab the golden spatula, and then wall jump your way back up, and then you can retrace your steps to get back over to where we were previously. There's no point in me showing this, so I'm just going to go ahead and skip ahead in the footage until we make our way back up there to where we were previously. Also, if you want a purple shiny object, you can actually bubble bash your way up here, and it'll just kind of, or at least it should kind of float towards you. Not if you bump into the other side of it. There we go. That's what we had in mind. Alright, so now I got a bit of a puzzle to solve. We got to shift these towers around in a certain way so that we can actually make our way up to that little bridge up there. So what you want to do is first you want to knock this tower over in that direction, then send this one spinning off in that direction, and that's all you really got to do. Well, actually, no, you also need to send this one over here so you can actually make the jump over to that tower. So once you do that, you can wall jump up here, and then you can make your way across those two towers that we set into motion before, and make your way up here. And before you do anything else, stop. Oh, well, I didn't mean to fail that jump. But what you want to do is you don't want to step onto the bridge just yet. You want to stop on the second tower that you can see over there. Stop on this tower with the yellow shiny object and use the cruise bubble from here to take out the Chuck. You don't want to get the Chuck's wrath. You don't want to get him focused on you until you take him out. Now, you can hit the Slick from here with the cruise bubble, but you can't finish him off because the time it takes for his shield to regenerate, because his shield can regenerate, is less than the time it takes for the cruise bubble to reach him from this distance. So even if you drain the shield, it'll just regenerate by the time you fire off second cruise bubble, so there's no point. What you do want to do is you want to head over here and jump on top of this little bit of the bridge right here. Our goal is going to be to double jump out and spin stall onto that little beam out below that platform, and then walk along it, turn around, and jump upward to grab the sock. This is going to be very precise, so I recommend you turn the camera down so that you can see as best as you can where you're going. Double jump, spin stall, aim for this little ledge right here, and then once you land, position the camera so that the log or the ledge you're standing on is the pole is as straight as it can be. Then just move forward as slowly as you can to make sure you go 1 inch at a time and you don't mess up. And turn the camera all the way around. Bubble bash, because if you bubble bash, you won't be able to move anywhere. You can just turn around. Bubble bash and then rotate all the way around so you're facing the sock. And double jump up and move on top of the platform to grab your sock so that you don't fall down into the goo below. Now, unfortunately, the only way to get back from here is to just kind of retrace your steps along this path and then wall jump up again. So I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead until we get back there. Now, the last thing we want to do before we move on with the rest of the level over there is to head to the edge of this boat right here, then drop off to the boat below, ignore the trampoline for now, we're going to use it in a second, and collect this very sneakily hidden golden spatula over here, and then we can finally move on with the rest of the level and proceed through the rest of the Dutchman's Graveyard. This one's very sneaky. It's very easy to miss this one because there's no indication that it's over here at all. It's very, very well hidden, but it's a nice little reward for if you manage to locate it. Alright, now we're just going to redo all these wall jumps again. And now we can finally proceed on with the rest of the Dutchman's Graveyard. So again, I don't recommend using the cruise bubble from that distance. I recommend landing here and starting to take out a couple of the fodders like this so they don't bother you at all. Then land up here. Apparently something drained his shield. I don't know what drained his shield, but what you wanted to do is land up here, bubble bowl his shield once, then either attack him or just bubble bowl him again. Either way, that'll take him out. I don't know what drained his shield. Maybe it was the explosion from the Thunder Cheeky. I don't know. Either way, once they're all cleared out, you can make your way across these platforms and steer clear. I guess I should have mentioned this, but if the Slick manages to hit you with his little oil wand thing, you'll become very slippery as if you're walking on ice. Here, I'll just show you right here. If you get hit by this, you'll start slipping around as if you're on ice. So you don't want to do that because it makes platforming significantly easier. But don't worry, it doesn't last forever. It will go away after a certain amount of time. Now this is tough because the Duplicatotron is going to keep firing enemies at you until you take it out. So what you want to do before anything else is just aim your crucible up into this little hole and destroy the Duplicatotron. I apparently missed that, but don't worry, we'll try again to hit this thing like so. There we go. Because it's really tough to solve this puzzle. I mean, it's not possible to do, but it's much easier to solve the puzzle while there's not a tidal wave of enemies coming after you constantly. So I want to make sure you take care of that first. Then we can worry about rearranging the tower. So first thing you want to do before anything else is shift this one to the back as far as you can, and shift this one to the back. Then shift this one to slide in this direction, and then shift this one to slide all the way back. then walk around to this side so that we can slide this one away, and now we can wall jump up to the top of these just like so. Perfect. Then jump over here to match this button right here with the bubble bounce. Now we can hop on that the mast that just got knocked down and use this little mini slide to jump our way over across these ships and grab the golden spatula right over here. And now we have made it through our first section of the Flying Dutchman's Graveyard, but we're not done just yet. We still got a little bit more to go for this episode. This is one of the shorter levels in the game, but there's still enough content to justify doing it over the course of 2 episodes instead of just one. So we're gonna go a little bit further. We're gonna get to the top of the Graveyard of Ships, and then we will call off the episode.
Ahoy there, Mr. Squidward. Swab the poop deck.
Yes, hilarious. Don't you have a platinum whisk to get?
That's golden spatula.
Whatever. There's one up there.
Short, sweet, and to the point. Alright, once again here, I recommend you bubble bowling into the bottom of the tublet, or if you miss, that's... Oh, good lord. Okay, that was interesting. That was interesting. Okay, so the plan was to bubble bowl into the bottom tublet and then bubble bash the rest. Not bubble bowl the middle one, and then frantically try to attack the others while I bounce up from the goo. But, it worked. I guess. Okay, well, moving on then. Hop across these platforms. They will sink under your weight, so you want to make sure you get off them as fast as you possibly can. Same thing here. You can bubble bash up here to get... Oh, well, not if you do that. Okay. I was going to say you can bubble bash up on top of that platform to get the underwear if you so choose. But we don't really need it because we only lost 1 hit point, so I'm not gonna risk it. And if for some reason you're playing as someone other than SpongeBob right now, then you can use that bus stop there to change back to SpongeBob so you can wall jump your way up to the top. But there's no need to because we are, of course, currently playing as SpongeBob. And then once you get up here, you can knock this hammer off the ledge. Nice and easy. And make our way around. Now here we will have to change away from SpongeBob because we need Sandy to make our way across this gap right here, because the only way of we're getting across is with the use of Sandy's lasso and her ability to hook onto these little Texas glider hooks or whatever they're called. So as we've been doing the entire time, you want to glide out between the hooks and then use the B button to swing your way across them like this. And once you make your way across right here, we'll get ourselves a checkpoint. And there's going to be a sock right below us in this boat. So, unfortunately, we don't have SpongeBob's Cruise Bubble here to help us deal with this chuck. But don't worry, we're just going to use the same tactics we used to deal with the one downtown Bikini Bottom. First, you want to drop it into here to get yourself a sock. Next, you want to jump up and glide towards the chuck as fast as you can. Dodge the missile it throws at you. Then land, ignore all the fodders, and just go straight for him. Don't even bother wasting time with your lasso. Just go straight for the kick, because in the time that you pull out your lasso, that might be enough time for him to throw a missile at you and knock you off the edge. So ignore all the fodders, and then just kick him off, and then you can deal with the fodders. So, yeah, it's just the same general tactics we use in Downtown Bikini Bottom, the same mountain to deal with the chucks, which is just bait them into throwing a missile at you, and then get the hell out of the way as fast as you possibly can, and then land, and then kick or lasso them off the edge. Now we need to switch back to SpongeBob because we need to wall jump way up to the top, and this wall kind of pushes in and out, so we want to wait for the wall to descend, to start retracting back into the wall, then mash the A button as fast as you can, wall jump up to the top quickly, so that you can get up before the wall starts to extend outward, and then, of course, push you out. If you don't get up here quick enough, the wall will shove you off, which is not something you want to do. Anyway, if you're feeling risky, you can go for a purple shiny object that's waiting for you right down here, along this little ledge. You can kind of walk out to it like this, and then just simply backtrack your way up here like so. Totally optional. Like I said, the purple shiny objects aren't a requirement to beat the game, but they're a cool little thing. A lot of them are in pretty cool locations. Anyway, this is a lengthy wall jump, but it's not anything too risky. It just takes longer to do. There is one wall jump coming up ahead, though. Actually, no, there's two that can be a little tricky. So I recommend trying to refine your wall jumping controls here if you haven't already, to make sure you know what you're doing for this section. This one's a little riskier because if you fail, you fall all the way to the bottom. But still, nothing too complicated. You just manage your elevation, because if you jump, if you notice, I'm kind of waiting a little bit before I press the A button again, because if you launch yourself too high, then you will actually be launched over the wall, and then you'll just fall to your death. So you want to manage your elevation when you're going across these things. Here, you can try to either bubble bowl or cruise bubble our little friend here, whichever one floats your boat. They both work perfectly fine. Now, before we go tackle that wall jumping challenge over there, which is going to be a bit of a doozy, what we want to do is head over to this clam and feed it 2,700 shiny objects to cause a bungee to descend from the sky. And now we're going to tackle a bit of a bungee challenge. Nothing much to it. It's not like the sea needle or anything. Just jump on, dive down, and there's your golden spatula collected. Nice and easy. Okay. So we have 2 more major wall jumping challenges before we get to the end of this section. This first one right here, and then one after this. Now, this is a pain because the walls are moving, so you have to match the pace of the walls. And unlike Rehydrated, where you can just kind of mash A and it'll do it for you, you have to actively keep up and match the pace. So there really isn't much I can do to help you out here other than just try to move SpongeBob in pace, because you can kind of control how fast you move in terms of like how far forward you push SpongeBob when wall jumping. So just do your best to match the elevation by waiting as long as you can to jump off the wall and just pushing forward in an appropriate pace so that you don't outrun the wall, but also can manage to keep up with it. It's just something you kind of gotta get a feel for. Here, Cruise Bubble to Chuck. Don't even try stepping into his territory until you Cruise Bubble him out of the way. Next up, this one is the final wall jumping challenge of the section. So here's what you want to do. You want to start off the wall jump off the wall, then off of this thing, then back to the wall, then back to this thing, to the wall, this thing, and then back and forth. Just again, it's a matter of just timing your jumps so that you can keep up with the pace of the thing. And once you land here, immediately try to bubble bowl. If you miss, that's fine, but you still want to try to bubble bowl this thing as fast as you possibly can, then nail another one to knock them out, and then take out the 2 Bizbots before they can deal any damage to you. So yeah, the idea here is, again, it's just an issue of matching the pace. So you want to try to time your jumps in tune with when this thing is spinning around, so that you'll be able, so that when you jump up to the next level, there'll be another wall waiting for you so that you can bounce off it and get up here. That's really what these 2 things boil down to, is both this one and that challenge over there is a matter of just timing your jumps in tune with when the walls themselves are moving. But once you make it to the top of these walls, you can make your way over here and collect your golden spatula as a reward for getting to the top of the Graveyard of Ships. And that'll be it for now. So, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for next time to catch you all later today for some more SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. Goodbye!